So CatZ, obviously with Complexity Gaming, and Dustin Browder here from Blizzard. CatZ is going to interview Dustin Browder here really quick.
Okay. So how's Heart of the Storm coming?
Really well. We're having a lot of fun making it, and we're hopefully going to get a beta out to you guys just as soon as we possibly can to see what you guys think. Hoping to get a chance for people to play it soon. I don't know exactly when. We're trying to get something set up for you as fast as we can.
He's good.
He's good, yeah.
So there's the regional finals for ladder coming up, right? I think North America and Latin America are both going to be in California like in the next couple weeks.
Oh, okay. I don't actually know what's going on in ladder right now.
Yep.
All right. Do you follow the scene a lot?
I follow it as much as I can. I watch mostly GSL, probably 4 times a week when I'm working out in the morning. I'll watch as many matches as I really can. Nesty's one of my favorite players, mostly because of his spine crawler attack recently, which is something we talked about many, many years ago when we were thinking that you could use spine crawlers offensively. We've never seen it. And we finally saw Nesty do it at a really crucial moment. It was so exciting. I'm also a big Fruit Dealer fan. Obviously, you know, I'm sort of rooting for him to sort of fight his way back at this point. He's not doing as well as he did sort of early on, so I'm still really hopeful that he works out. But it's really fun to see all these guys do the amazing things they do. I still really enjoy watching Idra. I really enjoy watching even guys like Marine King because they have such great micro. Really all these guys. I know there's hated players and love players, but at Blizzard we kind of love everybody who puts effort into it, right? It's just so much fun to see what the fans are doing with the game.
Yeah, of course. So do you have any, are you involved with game balance at all? Or
Yes.
is that David Kim alone? Okay.
David Kim does most of the heavy lifting these days. I'm focused a lot on Heart of the Swarm, but David still sort of works with me a little bit. I see if I can guide him a little bit, but he does awesome. I mean, he does an amazing job. We're really proud of David and the work he's done.
Great. So how do you feel about maybe we were talking about spine crawlers and using them offensively? What if they had a little bit of a shorter down route time?
It's possible. It's something we've looked at before. We did something. Did something recently with spore crawlers in that sense, so that was more possible. We do want to have some choices for you there. So I don't know what the exact right numbers will be, but it's something we can certainly look at.
Yeah, that or maybe making them a little bit faster to build.
Yeah, possible.
They're not very reactive right now. Like you can't react and build spine crawlers. They never get there in time.
Sure. We have seen some scenarios where players have done it in the end game. I noticed recently where they're flooding the map with tons and tons of spine crawlers just to slow the rush long enough for the Zerg to repop their army for 200 food once again. So they're having their place, but yeah, maybe we can make some adjustments to make them a little more early. I don't know for sure, but certainly feedback we could take.
Like 10 seconds earlier, and the build time would be like, it would be sick.
One of the things we have had problems with spine crawlers in the past is a lot of the early Zerg versus Zerg rushes. That was particularly prominent, if you remember, in the very early beta. There was possible, even before the beta went out, it was very possible to put out spine crawlers in ZVZ, and you could get some really kind of weird shenanigans there. So we do have to be careful with it. We can't just make them super fast and everything's okay. It can break some of the matchups, but we can look at it.
Yeah, I mean, that could be an issue, but not really. I mean, like if it's like a 6 pool with a spine crawler or something like that, it should be able to just put 3 drones.
If it builds very fast, it could be a problem.
Right, yeah. If it's just like 10 or 5 second buff though, just so they're more reactive for the other matchups. That's great though. What about the new maps? A lot of people have been wondering. Tournaments like this are probably not going to use those.
And they shouldn't, and that's fine. We make our map pool for the ladder for ladder players. And ladder players, there are players who like to rush. There are players who like to macro. We do have a system where you can veto maps that you don't want to play on.
Right.
We don't field ultimately, and certainly this is more true in Brood War than I think it is now, but I think we're starting to see a lot of the tournament players making these very complicated maps with a lot of expansions. This is not going to work for a lot of our ladder players. A lot of our ladder players are simply going to fail to scout those extra expansions, and it's always about hiding expansions, which is not appropriate. It's not a fun game, right? So we do want to have a mix of maps, and we don't feel like what happens in tournament is appropriate for ladder. What happens in ladder is not appropriate for tournament, and we're very comfortable with 2 separate types of pools happening there. And we're going to continue with that until we're convinced otherwise, which could still happen, right? Like, there's no final answers, right? There's
Can
no
I try right now really quick?
Sure.
So, say, what if there was a different map pool just for Grandmasters or something like that?
We've talked about that, and we have had a lot of negative feedback about that as well. Fans say, I don't want to suddenly switch up and suddenly I'm learning a whole new set of maps, but that would be an option for us if we felt that was really necessary. I do feel like a lot of these players are playing really, really, really well above even Grandmaster in many cases. I do feel like it is a different player pool at the end of the day, but it's something we could do if we felt like it was an important enough issue.
Right. As a player preparing for MLG, I couldn't ladder too much, for example.
Sure.
And to keep the Grandmasters, I guess,
That's
happy.
True. A lot of the places you are seeing players, of course, play with teams of people where they are connected up, but I do understand a starting up player, a player who is almost a pro player, or is an entry-level pro player would have problems using ladder if they just wanted to learn those maps. They would have to rely on their buddies in the community, their buddy Grandmaster players to try to practice those games.
Right, and at the same time, you don't get the same variety of strategies that you could have. Like, I know how he plays, he's my teammate.
Sure.
You know,
sure.
on the ladder, I just get a wide variety. So,
yeah, unfortunately, the ladder is not made right now for the up-and-coming pro gamer. It is made for all, right? It is made for the millions and millions of fans we have playing every day. And it's a tough act for us to follow. Do we just cater to the pro player and make it work for him? Yes, that would be great. I mean, that's why we did this. That's why we built the whole game. And we built the whole game for in many ways, for esports, for this moment. So we built this game.
Right.
At the same time, there are many players who are not there yet. Right. So we'll definitely keep taking feedback on it and try to figure out what the right moves are.
Sounds great.
All right. I have a question for you, Dustin. What do you feel about the disparity in skill between the Koreans and the North Americans and Europeans?
I'm not convinced that it's as much as people say that it is. We've seen some good results in a few tournaments, right, with European players and American players doing pretty well, and they almost won a couple of the team leagues. So I'm not convinced, but I also know that a lot of it is practice. I know the Korean players are very dedicated. I don't know how much the other players practice. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everybody else is playing 14 hours a day. Maybe the Koreans are not telling the truth when they say they're playing 14 hours a day. I don't know for sure, but I have a lot of hope that we'll see a lot more diversity in who these champions are, from what countries they come from all over the world. I think at the end of the day, I don't think there's anything racial in it.
Right.
I don't think there's anything cultural. I believe that it's probably just practice, but maybe not. Maybe, and they also, of course, they do at the end of the day have the advantage of they've had so much money, so much popularity for this sport in Seoul specifically. They do have the advantage of the country is gathered around one central city, and in America and in Europe we are scattered all over the place, right? But we are seeing events like this, which give me a lot of hope, right? That the interest, the revenue, and the enthusiasm will be there that will allow many of our pro players in America, many of our pro players in Europe, ultimately to be able to maybe not have a part-time job and a StarCraft job, that they will have, in fact, maybe be a full-time StarCraft job. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm certainly rooting for them in many cases.
All right. Any other questions from you, CatZ?
No. I do StarCraft full-time.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for helping to make all of this. This is absolutely amazing.
Thank you for doing what you do so that we can do what we do.
We'll keep trying.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.